our Almighty God, Creator of heaven and earth, Father and lover of our soul, you sit on your throne of mercy and rule with your love and faithfulness. You are full of grace. We acknowledge your presence in our lives. Nothing is hidden in your eyes, even our challenges and struggles in life. We come to you with faith. We ask not only for our daily spiritual bread, but to seek your forgiveness and undeserving favor to heal our land, our family members, our friends and neighbors, even our enemies with COVID-19 and other diseases. Holy Spirit, help us to deepen our faith and see the opportunity to believe, obey, and worship. As we face this pandemic, you are Lord and God. Encourage us and change our hearts, not to fear, but to be full of hope and find ourselves praying and meditating your word. We believe no works of the enemy prosper to your children. Abba, Father, we believe that your Son Jesus Christ is Lord and Savior. He is the truth and our salvation. Hear our prayers, O Lord, and most of all, not our will, but thy will be done. We pray this in Jesus' name, the name above all names, who was and is to come. Amen.
Naghahatid saya sa mga Pinoy, mga kanta at programang Tatak Pinoy. Napapanood at napapakinggan kahit saan ka man. Streaming worldwide. In South Manila, this is V81 Radio.
Malayo ka man sa iyong pamilya, dito ay hindi ka nag-iisa. Tiyak ito'y iyong hahanap-hanapin, dahil ito ang nagpapasaya sa atin. Radio.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the program anchors and producers and do not necessarily reflect the policies and position of this station. Discover the best kept secrets in metaphysics, law of attraction, science, and spirituality, and listen to practical mystics from around the world. Let's open Pandora's box with Reverend Reg Tan, your metaphysical minister, here in Practical Magic, your practical mystic source, only here on V81 Radio, Manila.
Satnam, everyone. I am Reverend Reg, and happiest, loveliest Valentine's Day to everyone. And today is actually February 14, 2021. And we know that Valentine's Day is one of the most highly celebrated occasions here in the Philippines and practically everywhere around the world where we express our affection for those people whom we have whom we have that special feelings for. But at the same time, today, I want us to go beyond that because I know that what I'm going to talk about in our episode today is something that is a bit controversial for the Filipino community. And our topic for today is lesbian love. And it's something that I've been wanting to see on air or something that I would have wanted to see in a talk show before, but I didn't really have the chance to do it. So now that I have a program, I think it's one of the best content that I can contribute to everyone. And I'm very grateful that Reverend Sheila uh, and also my friends Pau Chavez and Vanessa, who's the girlfriend of Pau, is also available tonight. And I just want to share with everyone why it's so important for us to discuss these things, especially, a lot of people are now coming out of the closet, and some people are still 50-50 about coming out of the closet. And for me, it's not really necessary to actually do it if you're not yet ready, if you're not yet in the mental and emotional space of seeing yourself, telling the people around you about your preference. Because for me, it was a lot easier because my college professor, Dr. Ronnie Mutilia, was very helpful, and he encouraged me and some of my friends that if we feel that we really have that feeling for the same sex, we should just tell our families about it because a lot of the problems in your adult life will come from you not being authentic with your family. And when I decided to study metaphysics, life coaching, energy healing, spiritual healing, I realized that a lot of the blockages that we experience in the different aspects of our lives is not being in our space where we are authentic about ourselves, especially our identity. So I'm just very blessed and I feel very fortunate that Dr. Ronnie Motilla was there. I had very good mentors, and my siblings and my mom, they're very loving and kind, and I really saw them do their best for me. So, because I grew up in a very loving and kind environment, I'm happy to share that kind of atmosphere into a bigger audience because I know that so many of the things that's blocking us is coming from the fact that we don't know how we're going to express our truth. And that's why I always begin my shows with the mantra Satnam, and it means truth is my identity. And right now, I just want to share with everyone. For example, I didn't realize that in the past, if I wasn't living my authentic self, one of the things that it can block in my personal and professional life is having a partner that will help me as well get to the state where I am successful career wise where I don't feel that I have to compromise certain situations at work. So it's one of those things that is very important. And at the same time, another thing that it has helped me do was to realize that in order for you to land the job that you feel fulfilled doing, being able to live your truth is so important because the more authentic you are, people will naturally gravitate towards you, especially if you are consistent about it. And when they see the importance of what you're doing, they will be willing to support you. And the universe, God, higher consciousness will be able to align you with people, events, circumstances, and resources that can actually help you fulfill your divine mission. So here in Practical Magic, we talk about practical techniques and practical strategies that you can actually apply in your personal life and in your professional life so that you can live a more authentic life, something that will help you live joyfully from the inside out. And, this afternoon, one of the things that I'd like to share with everyone, because I have always been honest to my family members about my preference. And although they ask me awkward questions about my relationship with my significant others, I felt that even if it was very awkward at that time, I'd rather have them find out through me what the real deal was with the people I was bringing at home than for them to hear it from other people because I don't want them to feel betrayed. It's not that I feel that I have an obligation to them, but I just think that it makes you feel more at peace when you know that you have an issue in your life that is important to you and the people closest to you also feel okay with it. And actually it's not them that has to be okay with it. It's you that has to be okay with it. It's you that has to be at ease. So one of the things that I want to share with all of you, a couple of years ago I was thinking, do I need to be authentic because I have to prove something? Or am I doing it for my own personal freedom, my mental and emotional freedom, and my alignment to the greater power? And at the same time, I want to share with everyone when I decided to become an ordained minister of the International Metaphysical Ministry, I know then that there's gonna be a lot of things that has to be put in the proper perspective, especially in the past, I was thinking, I really have to be able to speak freely about LGBTQIA issues because there are younger LGBTQIA people who are also concerned about these things and they're also looking for someone to look up to. But then, over the years, I didn't realize that it wasn't only a point of inspiration for the younger LGBTQIA, but it's also a point of inspiration for my clients who are a lot older than me. In fact, this afternoon I was so surprised because it's Valentine's Day today in the Philippines. And one of my clients who's about 4 decades older than me, yeah, 4 decades older than me, visited me near my area to greet me Happy Valentine's and Happy New Year. And at the same time, aside from greeting me Happy Valentine's and Happy New Year, he was there to just tell me and ask me questions about how I'm able to live openly as a gay minister. And he knew that I had a girlfriend a couple of years ago. In fact, I was in a relationship as well 8 months ago, but right now I'm single. So he was asking me questions about, is it really okay to be gay, have a relationship? Is it okay? Because in the Bible, so he's talking about the Bible, and in metaphysics, we talk about sexuality, expressing your truth, and at the same time, God doesn't hold any grudge for anyone who is practicing a homosexual lifestyle. And that's why I'm so happy and so grateful that Reverend Sheila made time for us today because I'm very sure that a lot of people have questions about the validity of what I'm saying. So if you have other questions, you can also ask my co-minister. And we have very interesting turn of events over the years because for both of us, we had to come to the realization that being okay is not just a matter that we're going to tolerate, but it's actually that we're something that we're going to celebrate. And that's why I know a lot of people may have their reservations about what I'm discussing right now, but I think it's just so important to be able to express these things because it's something that affects a big number of the LGBTQIA, and not only them, but it also affects their friends, their family members, their colleagues, because you want to have a smooth sailing interaction with them, but it's not possible to have a smooth sailing reaction or interaction with people if you're not living your authentic life. So anyway, Michael, is everything okay from your end? Michael is our tech guy. All right. So anyway, today I invited a good friend of mine and someone whom I met in my grade school and high school. And at the same time, today she's an interior designer, a singer and songwriter, and one of the most sought after performers here in the Philippines. So without further ado, let me welcome my friend and guest, Pau Chavez. Hello there, Pau.
Hi.
Hi,
Hello,
Satnam.
everybody. Hi.
Satnam,
Hello.
how are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much. Just yeah, just here waiting.
Fantastic. So
Having
did you have
Valentine's.
any gig today?
Yeah. Sorry, come again.
Do you have any gig today?
No. Later pa naman. I have a live stream at actually right after this. So, I'm gonna jump to that thing, and as soon as we're done.
Fantastic. I should have asked you to perform for us pala tonight.
Yeah. Perhaps we can do that again.
Yeah, all right. So anyway, thank you for joining us, Pao. When we were in high school, a lot of questions were popping in my head. I don't know if it's something that you also experienced, where you had a lot of questions about your identity, but it was the thing for me. And I want to know, when we were growing up, were you immediately open to your family about your preference? Or did you know as a kid growing up that you already had a different inclination compared to your other friends who were straight?
Actually, since I was 5, I was sure that something was different. So that's something that I've been taking notice of since since I was that young. And what made it difficult was the idea of seeing how people were and how imagining myself would be when I reach the same age as the people
Mhm.
around me are. So that means if I become an adult, or when I become an adult and I have to go to work, I would have to wear stuff like my mom does. She wears skirt, high heels. So that's already a problem with me because as young as 5, we would actually quarrel over wearing her, forcing me to wear a dress. So that's
Yes.
already a problem.
Yes.
uh, yeah, it actually started from there, and as I grew up, I knew that it's been there. It's not actually also difficult to come out. I didn't really have to, because
Mhm.
my family, especially my mom, she already knows that I was different.
Yeah.
So uh, I just had to slowly let myself uh, do my thing, or slowly show it to them, like cut my hair shorter and shorter. I think you've noticed that my hair grew
Yeah.
shorter uh, as the years went by, and now I have this much hair.
Yeah.
So um, as simple as that, from the hair to wearing big shirts and big
Yeah.
pants, not wearing girly sandals, stuff like that. So, yeah, it wasn't really so hard. I think I'm lucky because I didn't have
Mm-hmm.
to uh, tackle confrontations or
Mm-hmm.
moments where I really have to open up,
Yeah.
unlike others who would really have to think for a long time and it takes them years to do so, and some are not as lucky because some of them are still in the closet at this point. So yeah, I'm actually thankful that my family, well, it's not uh, as perfect, but they accept me, so
Yeah.
that's what matters.
Thank you for sharing that, Pao. And Pao was mentioning earlier how awkward it was for her to actually get into the space where she's gonna have to talk to her mom about having to forgo wearing girly clothes. And in fact, I can relate to you because in Miriam, before graduation, they also asked us to wear a dress. And
Yeah,
because of that, I didn't march because I
yeah,
found it so awkward for me. So I don't know, maybe in the psychology of how our brains work, that we didn't feel comfortable, but it's something that I'm exploring as a researcher. And I think it's so important, Pao, because personally for me, I don't want a repeat of whatever shock and trauma or limitation I had in the past. I don't
yeah,
want the next generation of LGBTQIA to feel awkward about the same things that we felt limited.
correct.
And in fact, I'm so happy that you're here tonight. I asked a bunch of people to guest on the show tonight, but not everybody was prepared. And at the same time, not everybody is actually comfortable being on air talking about these things. But thank you, Pao, for saying yes, because this afternoon, like I mentioned, I have a client who's 4 decades older than me. And even up to now, it's still an issue with the
Yes.
family, for his family, and at the same time, for Filipino Chinese families, one of the things that he has to deal with is his own family will not release his own inheritance because of
Oh
his
yeah,
sexuality. So
yes,
you see, these things really do happen, and that's why we're tackling this, because one of the things that he was telling me, they feel so awkward about having to deal with someone who's not the same as them. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because I asked permission to share this sensitive topic anonymously. So
hmm,
that's why I'm able to share this right now in our program, because I want us all to realize, we're having Valentine's Day, but Valentine's Day is all about love, unconditional love, loving kindness, love for the significant other, love for our family members and friends in the community. But it's
yes.
so difficult to get into that space when you haven't really resolved the things that cause you pain.
Yeah,
And
actually, I think the generation now
mm,
are more lucky, and I think so far the people who've been working on these issues, those that we don't know, somehow they've already imparted that idea that about gender roles and people expressing the way they want themselves to be seen. Unlike during our time
mm,
in high school, we were forced to wear heels when we are in senior year every Monday,
mm,
something like that, right? And that's actually I didn't even have, if you were able to walk during your graduation, I didn't get my graduation picture because they forced me to wear makeup. And that's really awkward when you're sporting a very short hair and then you wear makeup, and it's very evident that there's no uh, feminine side that's seen.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's not nice. I mean, for others it might be simple, but for us it really matters. It really does.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, Pao. And I trust that, anyway, before I start asking questions and I get I get so excited about the rest of the discussion, please go to your Facebook, and there might be some friends of ours who also want to watch this. Uh, you
Mhm.
can share the ask questions, can ask questions if they have any. So
Okay, let me try that.
if you have any questions for Pao, and send your comments. So anyway, another thing that I want to ask you, Pao, because I know for a fact a couple of years ago, I would find myself in awkward relationships because I didn't realize that I was carrying so much emotional and mental baggage from the things that I didn't realize was really traumatic for me. And I was carrying it out in my other relationships. So for you, how did you how did you find yourself in relationships? Was it something that was easy for you? Because honestly, for me, in terms of attraction, I don't think that that's the problem for most LGBTQIA relationships. I
Yeah,
think the issue is how to sustain it, because there comes a point in your relationship where people start asking your partner, is she ever gonna get married, or is she gonna have kids? And then actually it's one of the causes why the relationship doesn't last, because people start imposing those kinds of thoughts to your partner, and naturally
yeah.
they also find themselves questioning their relationship with you. So did you ever have to go through that kind of experience?
Yeah, well, it's really a journey to go through relationships, even more that we are LGBT. So um, I think the deciding factor would be um, actually knowing where you stand. So I'm
Mm, yeah.
not sure if my line got cut, but um, it's also, I think it swings both ways. Me
Mm,
being um, how do you say that, stable in terms of uh, how I validate myself,
mm-hmm.
and also in terms of my partner, at least her knowing what she really wants, because a lot
Exactly.
there's a lot of uh, things that there are lots of things that we have to consider, especially if in this society, if you are the trans man or the lesbian, they're always gonna ask you if you're ready, if you're when your partner suddenly feels like she wants to have a family, she wants to have kids, she wants to get married in a church, blah blah blah. So that's something that took me a long time before I actually understood. And the most important thing is when I learned how to really accept myself completely, because growing up, I felt like I was a low class citizen,
Mm,
for
yeah.
lack of a better term. I felt like there was something wrong with me and people were not gonna accept me. So my resort was to be kind. And that
Mm,
was really foolish because when you're too kind, people tend to step on you.
mm,
And that's
mm.
something that I didn't see. So by default, I grew up with that idea, and I had no idea that people were already doing that, the same thing. And it's only a few years ago.
Mm,
Sadly, not, I mean, I like myself better now because I do accept myself fully. It's just that I realize, you can't please anyone.
yeah,
Everybody don't matter, but my family is here. My
yeah.
family accepts me, and they
Mm,
support me for whatever endeavor that I decide to go to. And I have my siblings. So well,
yes.
they're so my immediate family. They're the most important thing, and actually, uh, learning that I don't have to explain myself to everyone, and I don't have to please anyone except myself.
Mhm.
For as long as I'm not hurting anyone, I'm not disrespecting anyone, or I'm not killing anyone, doing any injustice, or uh, I haven't caused any criminal, any crime to
Mhm.
anyone,
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Um, so when I realized that that's all that matters, it actually affected my relationship. So I
Mhm.
don't just settle for people who would be interested in me because, oh, I don't think anyone else would be interested in me if I don't take this person.
Yeah.
That's no longer the thing,
Yeah.
because when the I mean we teach people how to treat us.
Mhm.
So with my current relationship, before we started being a couple, I did ask her straight up. I asked her, "Are you the marrying type, or do you want kids? Do you want a family, or do you wanna get married in a church?" Something as blunt as those ideas. I actually asked her straight up, because if she was just having fun and she was just enjoying the whole thing, I would just be enjoying the whole thing as well. So that
Mhm.
doesn't hurt me. That way, I also protect myself,
Yeah.
right? And not assuming that, this might be the one, this might be the one, she might be the one, again and again and again. And I realized, I have a friend who told me, you know what? It's gonna be a cycle until you learn, until you actually learn it. So I realized that I've been settling and I've been accepting people who are just there.
Mhm.
And I didn't realize that I can actually make a choice. And
Yeah.
I can actually, I have the power uh,
Mhm.
in a more empowering context, right? I have the capacity to tell people to stop. I don't want this. Or let's just be friends. We're going to have
Yeah.
fun being friends. If you don't want me, that's fine. It doesn't make me a low class citizen. And actually, I realized that uh, being fair with my past relationships, it's not it's not always their fault. It's not actually
Mhm.
anyone's fault. They're
Yeah.
just relationships that are bound to last for a certain time.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and if I didn't had have those, I wouldn't know what I know right now. That's very
Yeah.
cliche-ish, but I did learn a lot.
Yeah.
And it's not always okay, or it's not always good to be good. We
Mhm.
have to put a foot down whenever we have to. We have to call out when we have to. It's not always hanging on and letting things pass. Oh, I'll just let this pass right now. This is just a little thing. I
Yeah.
realized, when something feels uncomfy, you call it out straight away, because the next the next moment they're gonna do it again. It's gonna happen over and over until you call it out, and it's gonna be too late if you don't do it as early as now, because they're already used to it.
Mhm.
So that's the one of the things that I learned.
Yeah. But Pao, I want to ask you because I also realized for myself that in the past, I had a tendency to be unfaithful to my partner because naturally you were also resolving your own insecurities.
Correct.
And the reason why you get into situations like that because you're not cool as a person. But now, exactly what you said, you can set boundaries when you know who you are, what's important to you, and you know your self worth. And because of that, you're also not going to get yourself into situations that will compromise your faithfulness in the relationship. So, did you also have any, did you also go through a period like that? Because as I'm doing my research, it's natural for people in the LGBTQ community, not just the LGBTQ community,
Yeah.
even for heterosexual couples, if you don't feel whole as a person, you have a tendency not to be faithful to your partner.
Well, for me, I had perhaps I did have times when I wasn't faithful to my partner, and that's actually me being uh so I always give my best foot forward. Like I give everything for my relationships, and the moment that uh I get interested, that's actually what I said before to a previous relationship. When I uh when or if I become unfaithful, it's your fault because I know I gave everything. So that's how bad it was. Like I'm gonna give you everything, but if you don't, I'm gonna do this. So it's like having a license to do it, which is not really nice because when I realized, if I'm not happy with this relationship, I could have just told her straight up that this is not working for me anymore.
Yes.
So it wouldn't have to be so bad. And yeah, like I mentioned, I think I wasn't able to complete the thought. Uh, to be fair with my past relationships, I mentioned that it's just really not meant for the both of us. It's only bound to happen for a certain time, and
Yeah.
other than that, there are just things that can change, and
Yeah.
there are just things that it doesn't mean that we're low class citizens. It's just that they have other possibilities for
Yeah.
themselves, not for
Yes.
the both of us.
Yes.
So um, I guess that's also a reason why I also became friends with past relationships, which is a good thing because we were able
Mm-hmm.
to complete everything and clean up right after that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very good, Pao. And I'm happy that you brought it up that it's not really about the other person, but it's essentially about you and being able to realize that there's a growth process that's taking place. And it's so important for everybody to realize that everybody goes through a period where you're growing and you're expanding your horizons. And sometimes you grow and expand in different directions.
Yes.
So, anyway, I'm happy that Veronica is also available tonight. It's actually my first time to meet her. So, Satnam, Veronica, how are you
Hello.
doing? Hi.
Hi.
This is my
So,
girlfriend,
happy
Veronica.
Valentine's Day to both of
Happy
you. And
Valentine's Day.
happy love day to both of you. So anyway, I want to share a bit of history to our viewers because I used to attend Dr. George Sheason's lectures in the Temple of Prayer, Peace and Prosperity, and his book A Miracle Awaits You is actually one of the most helpful books that I read. So he was talking about everybody is made in the image and likeness of God, and that has everything to do with people being straight, gay, bisexual, transgender, polysexual, trisexual, something like that. And the reason why I'm bringing it up tonight is because love is ever expanding and it's universal. And at the same time, I really believe that for a person to thrive in life, especially in their careers, it really helps a lot if you have a partner who's very supportive. You it's like you have a different level of passion for what you do because your partner is also very supportive of you. And I know, Veronica, that whatever career success that Pao is enjoying now, it also has a lot to do with your influence. So anyway, like what Pao mentioned earlier, she was very upfront about asking you whether or not you're the type of person who was still thinking whether or not if this is the type of relationship that you want or if you wanted to have kids. And I think all those things that Pao mentioned earlier are actually valid, especially for some people, it's actually a fantasy to get married in the church. So, how did you take it? Was it something that was offensive to you, or was it something that you felt easy taking in?
It was actually refreshing because it
Mhm.
was. I felt like, wow, this is such a mature conversation, and there's no mind games. I didn't have to guess where this was going. You know, I mean, it didn't have to be sure na it's going to be us or whatever. But I just know that he knows what he wants.
Mhm.
That helped me realize then na maybe I don't want kids, or maybe if we're gonna get kids, we can do it in the non-traditional way. We can adopt. You know,
Yeah.
hindi naman kailangan traditional family sa akin manggagaling at sa'yo manggagaling yung bata. So,
Yeah.
yun. And it was really refreshing that he knows what he wants, and it helped me realize then na I have to think about these things now before I
Yeah.
get into a relationship with him.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And Pao, I'm sorry if I'm using the she pronoun.
It's
Okay,
okay.
so now I understand you prefer it that
Yeah,
way. So
it's actually
anyway,
okay for me, but for some, we have to be
Careful.
careful. Yes.
yeah. So anyway, for our viewers, Pao actually taught me something yesterday, and I didn't know this about the trans man. So can you please explain it further because you have a better way of explaining it?
I think my explanation is actually improving. It's still growing, but as a trans man, the way I understand it, uh, at least for me, I am someone who's born female, but I see myself as male. So that makes me a trans man. It doesn't necessarily have to be someone who's already transitioning or someone who's getting ready uh, to have an operation.
Mhm.
So as long as I see myself or identify myself as uh, the opposite, or let's say uh, not parallel with my biological sex, then that makes me a transgender or a trans man, at least for me.
All right. That's very amazing. I didn't even know that because every time someone brought it up, I just know that I'm happy and gay.
Yeah, actually,
So
it's also new to me. I just found out about it like a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, because I have a friend from Outright. It's an LGBTQ organization, and they're one of our leaders in terms of the community. Um, she taught me about it, and she asked me straight up, "Are you a trans man or are you a lesbian?" So I was really stunned, and I told her, "You know what? This is the first time somebody asked me about that. I have to get back to you because I was shocked because I never thought of that. Uh, I was asked how I saw myself. Do you see yourself as male or female? Something like that. And I'm like, I wasn't really aware. I wasn't mindful about it because all my life, I thought I was just a lesbian until
Mhm.
uh, I went back to her and I said, I can actually answer that question right now. I realized I'm a trans man, and but I'm not quite particular with the pronouns, so it doesn't really matter because I also don't want to keep explaining myself. So that's another thing that I developed.
Yeah.
Everybody knew that I was lesbian, ganyan. But as the years went by, especially the past few years, I realized, oh, I'm a trans man. And I was asked by my friend, are you gonna come out? I'm like, nah, I don't really have to.
Yeah.
Uh, that's 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 not really important anymore. Yeah. And I only have to explain myself when people ask me and if they matter.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Uh,
that's what happened.
Thank you for sharing that, Pao. And how about you, Veronica? How was your growing up years? Because it's natural for family members to ask you what are your future plans. And I'm very sure that it wasn't just Pao who asked you if you wanted to have kids and get married in a church. I'm sure your relatives, your
Yeah.
siblings, your parents asked you that question.
Parang it's actually expected of you na nga eh.
Mm,
Parang it's automatic. That's what I'll become.
yeah.
I'll be a wife, I'll be a mother, get married in the church, blah blah blah. But I haven't been really parang the traditional good daughter na ganitong age, magpapakasal na, etc. I really don't, lately ko na lang din na-realize na you don't have to follow that structure.
Yeah.
Growing up, my family is really religious.
Mhm.
So, and ako rin, I grew up really religious na Roman Catholic, ganyan. And then eventually, I didn't practice it too much na, and I was open to other religions. I read up about other religions, and na there is no one. I believe there is no
Yeah.
one perfect religion. That all
Yeah.
religions are, it should be respected,
Yeah.
ganyan. And so, yon. So, I right now the religion doesn't really like affect my decisions too much. And so the societal norms, hindi na rin siya ganun ka nakaka-apekto sa mga decisions ko as an
Yeah.
adult.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. But I want to ask you,
Yeah.
for you, for example, me in the past, I've
Mm.
had girlfriends who initially they thought they weren't really gonna get into a relationship with the same sex, but
Yeah.
they found themselves getting into a
And,
relationship with the same sex. And honestly, of course, there's that big factor in them where they were questioning what was happening to them. They were questioning their choice. So, did you
mm.
ever have to go through that period as well?
um yes and no. Parang because when I met Pau, he
Mhm.
already said na he's a trans man. So he's a man. That's his
Mhm.
gender identity. He's a man. So when I look at him, I see him as a man. So
Mhm.
parang, and all my previous relationships were with men. So I
Mhm.
still consider myself. I'm still actually still confused if I'm a bisexual because I sometimes I get attracted to women, feminine women, pati yung appearance nila, women, ganyan. But I haven't
Yeah.
been in a relationship. So I'm not sure if I'm bisexual or straight. But since Pau is a trans man, and that makes our relationship a heterosexual relationship because I'm a
Mhm.
woman and he's a man. So parang it didn't really change anything for me
Yeah.
too much. So parang if he sees himself as a man, that's his identity. Then
Yeah.
that's how I see him also. Parang ganun yung nangyari.
Awesome. But for both families, are they comfortable with you guys hanging around during family reunions?
For my family, my cousins are okay with Pau,
Mhm.
but my parents are not okay with Pau. I think it's also a generational thing. Na
Yeah.
in their generation, it's
Yeah.
bad, it's wrong.
Yeah.
Parang, or it's just a phase.
Yeah.
Ganyan. Yon.
Yeah.
Pero I'm so glad that my brothers accepted. Like, when I told them parang umiyak pa ako, I'm in love with a trans man, blah, 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 iyak-iyak ako. Tapos sabi ng kapatid ko, okay ate. Ganun lang. It was so simple. I was worrying over something that it was okay with them. It was not an issue. So
Yeah.
yun, I think it's really a generation thing na I have to deal with it. So yun, it's not a perfect relationship with the parents. Parang ganun.
Yeah.
I don't even think there is a relationship with the parents. Si
Okay.
Pa with my parents right now. But his family is okay with me, I think.
Yeah, of course. Actually, there's no problem when it comes to my family. They fully accept Veronica, and they actually look for her when she's not around. So
Yeah.
I think that's good enough proof to find out if it's okay. They're actually happy that I have a partner in her,
Mhm.
and because they haven't seen me with anyone for a long time, so
Mhm.
that's something really important to them. And then they actually ask how she is, and they also consider her. Let's say if we're gonna eat out, okay, she's already counted,
Yeah.
stuff like
Yeah.
that. So it's okay with my family. We're good. So like I said, they've accepted that fact already, and actually one of the best conversations that I had was with my grandpa. Um,
Mhm.
he told me, you know what? I know who you really are. I know you already. And the only thing that matters to me is someone uh, will love you truly.
Mhm.
So yeah, so
Yeah.
I guess I'm good. With that one, I'm really good with my
Yeah.
grandpa.
Thank you for sharing that, Pau and Veronica. And for now, we're going to pause for a short commercial. We'll be back for Practical Magic.
We'll be back shortly. This is Practical Magic, your practical mystic source. Only here on V81 Radio, Manila. Connected ka na ba para laging updated sa mga bagong shows, promos, trending news, viral videos, events, o patok na OPM hits? Just follow us on Facebook at V81 Radio Manila. Simple lang, itype lang ang letter V81 Radio Manila. O, di ba madali lang? Kaya i-like at i-follow na. Now back to Practical Magic, your practical mystic source. Only here on V81 Radio, Manila.
Satnam, everyone. I am Reverend Reg, and today I'm so happy and I feel so grateful that my friend Bao and her girlfriend is actually here for Practical Magic, where we're talking about lesbian love and at the same time, how important it is to have a very supportive family to sustain you. And I want to have a shout out to my siblings and my mom because I know that it was a lot easier for me to find myself in opportunities that will work for me because in the best way they can, they've shown me how important it is to I just felt their love. And even if they're not able to articulate that love for me. In so many ways, my siblings and mom were considerate. So I just know that that's their love language. And it has helped me by leaps and bounds get the breaks that I want in life. So I want to ask Pau and Veronica if they ever had any setbacks in the past because this is an interesting topic to discover and to explore, especially how our sense of identity and our idea of having a relationship with a significant other actually helps or uh, can actually break the feeling of fulfillment in the different areas of your life. So back to you, Pau and Veronica.
Hello.
Yeah. So I want to ask you both because when I was growing up, I've always been a success enthusiast. I always wanted to thrive in my chosen career. But like what Pao mentioned earlier, there was a time in her life when she was forced to wear things that she wasn't really comfortable. I was in a corporate job for a time and I also didn't resonate with it. I didn't want to wear whatever the office wanted me to wear. So that was one of the things that blocked me from having that career success that I wanted, and many other things actually. And I didn't realize that until I got my own internal issues explored and healed, I was not going to get the breaks that I wanted in my life. So, did you ever go through that, Pau or Veronica, in your career?
um. Okay. You wanna answer?
I'll answer first because mine is easier. I'm straight performing. Is that how you see it? So I'm feminine.
Express.
I express myself as a woman, so I didn't really have problems with that. And only when I got into college and learned about SOGI, sexual orientation, gender identity, blah blah blah, that I fully understood I understood the reasons behind why that gender is a spectrum, that sexual orientation and attraction are different things from gender identity. So for me, I didn't have any issues growing up because I'm straight. So there's really no problem. And I think Pau will have a lot more have more setbacks than I had.
Yeah, well, it's easier now compared to after graduating from college.
Mhm.
In uh, let's say that's about 2000, early 2000s. It was more difficult. I joined
Uh,
a singing contest before, and
Mhm.
people were expecting me to be more neutral, to wear something a little less manly, or to express myself a little less manly, um, or to wear a little makeup. So that was really
mhm.
bad. Um, that's at least during our time. That's about 2006.
Ah, oh.
Six. Yeah, between 2000 and I mean earlier until 2006, that's actually the main problem, that I won't get the gigs until I change my image. I have to wear dresses or skirts, because when it comes to joining bands, they need
Mhm.
a female figure on
Yes.
stage, who will front, and that's already a setback. So when I joined that contest on TV, it's already really difficult to fight for expressing myself the way I would,
Yeah.
and there were also audiences who, so we can please everyone, right? So there are some who would really attack me on that part, and there are some jobs that I can't land actually,
Yeah.
simply because they need a female looking figure. And actually, also in terms of being a singer, if I were to perform songs, it's also difficult because uh, I can't sing songs that are too manly, and I can't sing songs that are too girly. So it's like, okay, where do I go? Uh, so that's already a problem.
Yeah.
But these days, the gender roles are, I think it's slowly being, how do you say that, set aside, or
We're getting more aware, I
yeah,
guess.
there's more awareness that we don't have to comply with these gender rules,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
anyone can express themselves. And we can see cisgender or cisgender women. I was taught that straight
Yeah, sorry.
people are no longer used, because the only thing that's straight is a ruler. So now the best term uh, that we should use, as I was taught, was
Sorry.
saying cisgender. So for cisgender women, they can sport a hair similar as mine, and still be cisgender. So it doesn't
Yeah.
change. It's the way they express themselves. They can wear pants. They can be androgynous. It still doesn't matter, for as long as um, they know with themselves that they're a cisgender woman. And that's pretty much the same with me. I could be a trans man, but if I want to wear a skirt right now, I can.
Yeah.
It's just that it's not
Yeah.
my gender expression. So
Yeah.
uh, that's I think a major factor these days. I actually feel lucky to be, well, it's still a long way to go, but at least somehow it's opening up, that
Yeah.
people are seeing beyond gender roles.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that, Pao. And, I have a co-minister in South Africa, and he's engaged to his partner and is also a minister. And they're both Catholic priests. They're non-traditional Catholic priests because they were saying that not all the lineage actually comes from what we perceive to have gender roles. And Father Carol always mentioned to me that Jesus never said no to anyone, because I just have to bring that up because so many people, like my client this afternoon, thank God I have permission for him to share anonymously what he's going through. He's 4 decades older than me, and he's Filipino Chinese, and his family wouldn't release his inheritance because of his preference. But the thing is, he doesn't even have a boyfriend. So,
Mm.
and I was telling him, in metaphysics, when people get sick in the body, it has a lot to do with their mental and thought and feeling patterns. So if you're constantly feeling guilty, sooner or later, your body is going to create a disease.
Yeah.
And this is the reason why I have this strong desire to talk about metaphysics in the Philippines and to talk about LGBTQIA issues, because I really feel that once you move past a certain limitation in your life, you have that spiritual mission to actually help other people move past that block so that you can help in the evolution of humanity. Especially my friends and I have constantly talked about this. He's my co-anchor as well for Rainbow Society. It's an LGBTQ show, and they mentioned to me as well that LGBTQ people who have less hang-ups and reservations about themselves, they tend to be more successful in terms of wealth and other aspects. So do you feel, Pao, that you somehow felt attracted, you attracted a limitation in terms of your wealth area or your career area because of that feeling second class or a low class citizen, as you mentioned earlier?
Yeah, I think it actually affects uh, everything else. Um, if I feel like a second or a low class citizen, then uh, my being is totally affected because I won't show up. I won't
Mm.
bring myself out there. I won't subject myself to scrutiny, to
Yeah.
further scrutiny, and I won't try to take on bigger things. Uh,
Yes. Yes.
so it actually, like, the way I am in one aspect actually affects the rest of the other areas. So yeah,
Thank you for
as soon as I actually realized that, um, it totally transformed things for me.
Thank you for sharing that, Pao and Veronica. So now I want to put on board a colleague of mine who's a very amazing master energy healer and who has also worked on herself a lot. And for the last 2 weeks, I've guested her in Practical Magic because I really feel that her voice is so important to the healing of the rest of the planet, especially LGBTQIA issues. Because she told me in our interview that in the past, when she wasn't aware, unconsciously she has also taken a stance where she felt limited about her views when it comes to discussing LGBTQ issues. So, without further ado, let me welcome and call on Reverend Sheila. Satnam, Reverend Sheila, and good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah,
Hello.
yeah.
Hello.
Reverend Sheila, it's actually the four of us tonight. I have Pao, my friend, and also her girlfriend, Veronica. And today we're talking about lesbian love. And honestly, I want to end the show with energy healing. That's gonna be half an hour later. But for now, I want us to focus on, like what Pao mentioned earlier, it really limits you when you feel you're second rate. Because I also felt that way. I always felt second rate because of my sexuality and my preference. And I've always been honest about it. I never kept it from my family, and I'm just very grateful to my family. I hope they're watching because even if I don't say it a lot, I want them to know that I'm very grateful, and I feel so blessed that I didn't have to go through what other lesbians had to go through.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Pa was saying, it will translate to other areas of your life where you feel limited because of feeling second rate. It does affect other areas. Please explain the dynamics of it, Reverend Sheila, because I know you have so much information about this.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me on, Reverend.
Yeah,
I am just so honored to be here today to be able to be part of this beautiful program, especially about the gay people out there and the
yeah.
community and how it affects them and their
Mhm.
actual transformation as they grow in their spirituality and where they're going in their lives. And the two of you are just wonderful to be able to see how mature, how wise, and how you are so centered in who you really are. You're divine. And
Thank
you really are. You're so much more forward in thinking. And what I did pick up on, it was about your grandfather's knowledge of accepting you for who you are, and that kind of shows me is the situation where I'm in. I'm not a young person. I'm not real old either. However, I was set in my ways because of tradition. What I was taught. And what I had to do was to really step in to who I really was. And, what I have shared in the last couple weeks is my own situation with my home life and the way that I was brought up, and also my own feelings towards the gay community when I was very young. And that was because I didn't know any different. That's the way I was taught. But as I went on, as I shared before, that I was brought up in an alcoholic home, and I became an alcoholic also. And I'm very grateful for that today, because it made me who I am today. It helped me heal a lot of the pain why I became an alcoholic, but also the past of my life. And when I look now as being a wise woman, and I heard your grandfather knew intuitively, what was really important. It had nothing to do with gender. It had to do with your divinity inside and why you're here is to live and love who you are. And many of us, we get stuck in all those issues that we learned. All right. And as we have been able to go forward now, so many things are different now in this collective consciousness that, we can stand in our sacred truth. We can be authentic for who we are. We don't have to live by anybody else's beliefs, or traditions. But it's hard living in society, when so many are still out there with that. And, we are the pioneers. Think about that. The pioneers for the future. And to show that, labels only hurt. It has nothing to do with your true divinity, who you really are,
you. Yes.
And I'm just so grateful that there are couples like you out there, and Reverend Reg out there, to be able to educate people about this. That is that it doesn't matter where you came from or who you are or your gender. It's about, your authentic self. Why are you here? And today is a beautiful day about love.
Yeah.
It's love. First of all, it's about love for ourselves. And when we love ourselves, it just shines out brightly. you know Reverend Reg, when you talked about, when you come into authenticness and you actually speak out and you live who you're supposed to be, you are successful. You are successful. And it's because you don't have to hide. You don't have the
Yes.
shame. You don't have the shame. It's like, however, we do have to live in the real world, don't we? With
But
people that have their own beliefs and traditions. And so what we have to do is we have to send them compassion.
Yes.
We have to have compassion for them. And it's a learned behavior. Yes, it's a learned behavior. And I didn't do it completely perfectly, and did any of us really? We've learned,
it's true. It's true.
Powell, when you were talking about learning, to be able to know what you were comfortable with and to be able to voice that in a way, and also know the difference between of what you could do and can't do and how it affected other people. Very wise, very, very wise, might say. It's very good.
I I I I had to learn it really to go through a lot of things before I actually got it. It was really theoretical whenever I thought of it before, and I'm like, they always say that, but I don't know how to apply that in my life. So it took a lot of experiences, and I was only able to put them together after those. So I can really say that I like myself better now compared to how I was before. And it was, um, and like you said, having compassion for people because they don't know any better, at least for now,
Yeah.
it's actually difficult.
Oh,
Yeah,
I get it.
it's yeah, especially if the emotions are high, but when we are being mindful, and when I actually understood that uh, I don't always have to make them agree with me, for as long as I understand myself, it doesn't really make me a small person or anything less or anyone less than them. Yeah, it's I guess also learning to step on the brakes, just let them be for some experiences. Yes.
Absolutely. And my own experience is that people, they need to be educated because they don't know what they don't know.
Yes.
And sometimes when you encounter people like that, there's no sense of arguing with them or trying to convince them, who you are, because they don't know any different. They really don't. But what I do is to diffuse the situation is when somebody's talking to me and they just feel that they're right no matter what. You can look at it and say, you might be right. Thank you for allowing me to take a look at that. Different avenues of ways of talking to people like that. And sometimes, it's very interesting when you see people that you really touch a core with them,
Mm.
and it's like then they really have to take a look at themselves, and that's what this is about, isn't it? About our
Yeah.
growth, about our growth,
Yes.
and
Yes.
and right, it's about
Yeah.
Yes.
it's about our growth. And Veronica, I think it was wonderful that you were able to learn your likes at a very young age too, about being bisexual, but also when you met Pau, how he was a man to you. I mean, he there wasn't like no shame at all as far as who he was, and you accepted him for who he was, and the relationship with your parents, it's all about compassion. They don't know any different, you know.
Yeah.
And really what they want is for you to be happy. And they know you're happy. They know you're happy. So we just have to continue living our authentic lives, who we really are, and sending out the beautiful love and compassion, which is what this day is all about.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that, Reverend Shida. And in fact, I really want to bring this up to our audience tonight. One of the things that I feel so concerned about in the past, we always felt that, you should be grateful because you're gay and your family accepted you. So it felt like because they're tolerating you as a gay individual, you should be grateful. But we both know, Reverend Sheila, there's more to that. It's not about you should be grateful because they accepted you. No, it's because you're made in the image and likeness of God. You're just equal to people who are cisgender or straight, like what Pao was mentioning earlier. And it's something that I want to get across to every individual because to set the record straight, that's what this is all about. You're made in the image and likeness of God. It's not a philosophy that's just nice to hear, but it really is that way. And in fact, the reason why I'm bringing it up, Reverend Sheila, I was telling myself the last couple of days before the program tonight, I think this is one of the most important episodes that I'm going to do for Practical Magic. And especially it's Valentine's Day here in the Philippines. A lot of the things that we talked about earlier with Pau and Veronica, especially when you're the bisexual or you're the straight girl, you're expected to get married, have kids, and live up to the conventions that way.
Yeah.
And because it's Valentine's Day, I love what Veronica mentioned earlier that, Pao and I can have kids, but maybe not necessarily in the conventional way a society would bring it up. And me too, because I feel that even right now, even if I'm single, I think I'm capable of adopting someone.
Yeah.
Uh, It doesn't really have to be because you're going with the conventions, but it's about celebrating the different kinds of love. But I know for myself that it will have more authenticity if I prioritize talking about lesbian love, because it was the thing that really made me feel limited in the past. It would be nice to have a perspective of it, another metaphysical minister bringing into the light what I'm talking about. Please explain to us what it means uh, to be in the image and likeness of God. And it's available to everyone, and it's not just for a relative view.
Right. Well, many of us have many issues that we have brought with us, from
Mhm.
other lifetimes, but especially in our young childhood. And, all of us are growing, and many of us don't wake up, and many of us do. And
Mhm.
the key is how do you heal those issues so that you can really live in your divineness? That's the
Yeah,
key. And a lot of society hasn't done that yet.
yeah,
And when you're in, not knowing, like in transition to really to come out of the closet, or
yeah,
the wardrobe, as somebody I've heard a lot of people talk about wardrobe. Instead of saying closet, wardrobe is more feminine. It's like, okay, it's like, it is about, why do they stay, in the closet, in the wardrobe? It's because of the
yeah.
fear and all the other issues that they have that they've learned, the program, so the healing comes when you start to accept yourself, but you really take a look at, why do I have this shame? Why do I have this
Mhm.
fear? Why is
Yeah.
it so important for me to be accepted by other people? you know
Mhm.
and that's part of the healing process that most of us go through. And the wise ones, it doesn't matter how old you are, wake up a little bit sooner. And that's what's wonderful about this consciousness collectiveness that we have out there, is that we can wake up earlier and live a divine life.
Yeah.
So it's wanting to really go within and feel that you are magnificent. There's more to you in your divineness and why you're here. But dealing with those issues, sometimes it's very hard. And that's when, Reverend Reg and I, we've learned those things. And for me to stand in my magnificence, I had to get honest with myself, and
Yeah.
I had to face those issues of not feeling worthy, feeling less than, not being a productive member of society. And you are, you know, learning to love yourself going inside. And sometimes it's hard to do when you have so many other layers of issues that are still stopping you, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I'm very grateful for the lessons that I have learned and the people that God has placed before me to take a look at my own issues, not anybody else's, my own issues. And then by doing that, I'm able to stand on my authentic self and be who God really wants me to be and live
Yes.
my purpose.
Thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that, Reverend Sheila. And one of the things that Reverend Sheila and I have in common is our shared passion for heart math and, living from our authentic selves and realizing that the heart is actually a very powerful component of our physical body. And it doesn't only affect our physical well-being, but it delves into the different aspects of our lives. And I know that Reverend Sheila has prepared prayer treatment. Is that it, or a form of energy healing uh, for all of us tonight? And I think this is just one of the best ways to transcend whatever collective limitations we have. I know there's gonna be issues that's gonna be coming up, but it's just so important to take the first step to healing. Because if we don't heal ourselves, we're going to keep attracting the same limitations with different people. But it's still the same issue. And we don't want a repeat of that. We want to evolve, we want to grow, and we want to be able to enjoy what it means to live a joyful life from the inside out and be fulfilled, because that's what love is, to for you to realize that you're complete as a person, and you can extend loving kindness to other people because you know that you can generate that from within you, and it doesn't have to come from anyone outside of you. Yeah. So anyway, Reverend Sheila, we're just gonna follow your lead.
I'm going to follow this.
We're gonna follow your lead.
Okay, all right. So we're going to do a little bit of a heart math prayer channel connective with your source inside because it's powerful, the power that you have inside. Okay, so I want you to get nice and comfortable. All right, we're going to do a little bit of a heart math and a channel and a meditation together.
Mhm.
All right. You can
Yeah.
close your eyes or keep them open, whatever you choose to do. I will be doing both. All right.
Mhm.
So we're going to go ahead and go to your core center and find a nice, relaxing spot that you want to go to.
Mhm.
And what I would like you to do is to actual feel the beautiful energy in Mother Gaia, the earth that's coming through you, because you are magnificent and you are connected with the earth and also with the universe. So as you breathe in, I want you to focus upon your heart center and breathe in through your heart and breathe it out through your heart. Now, the next time you breathe in, I want you to breathe in a beautiful sense of compassion for yourself and for others. And now, dear children, I would like you to take your hand and put it onto your heart and feel your beautiful heart beating. And keep breathing nice and gently. Breathe in and breathe out. And now, dear children, I want you to think of something that brings you joy, something that really makes you feel joyful inside and appreciative and grateful. Breathe that in and breathe that out. And now, dear beautiful children, beautiful dear ones, keep that feeling in your heart. Breathe it out and breathe it in. And listen to this beautiful prayer from the divine. Dear beautiful, dear ones, children of the light, you are powerful in your magnificence. And as you come together today and for the rest of your life, may you feel this beautiful love that you feel in your heart right now. You have the power to continue going forward. Think of yourself in a beautiful chair. Visualize you being in this chair and breathing in the love and breathing out the love. Beautiful children, dear ones, we are one with the universe. The divine source is here to support you. Breathe in the love and breathe out the love. And as you visualize yourself in this beautiful chair, visualize all the beautiful loved ones that you have around you right now. The loved ones from your past. The loved ones in your life right now. And visualize the beautiful loved ones that are coming forward. Breathe it in and breathe it out. As you sit in this beautiful chair, let you know that your compassion is huge. And the power that you hold is your total magnificence for your divine soul. Breathe it in and breathe it out. And our prayer for all of you out there is to continue to live in this compassionate love radiating out from your soul. Every time you meet someone who does not agree with you or what does not accept you. Remember, it's all about compassion. Breathe that compassion in and breathe it out. When you deal with issues, your own issues, we want you to remember this feeling that you have right now, this unconditional love that you have for yourself and the unconditional love you have for others people. Dear ones, breathe in your magnificence. Breathe it in and breathe it out. As you go forward in this beautiful collective consciousness that is around you, be very much aware of the life changes in yourself and also the life changes in others. You are divine. You are one with the source that all is, the universal divineness, our creation of who we are. As you sit in this beautiful chair, feel the vibration around you. Feel that vibration going out through your energy field, through all the people that you are involved with, and visualize the people to come, that they feel this beautiful vibration of love. And as you go forward, dear ones, we want you to resonate with that beautiful feeling of Mother Gaia in the bottom of your feet. Visualize the energy coming up from your feet, and it's in your heart center. And now all the way up to the universal oneness of God. You are connected in this vibration. And as you go forward, know that you are an anchor for humanity. As you step on Mother Earth, you actually vibrate out and you actually plant the seeds for all the other beautiful love beings on this earth. You are actually planting the seeds of love, and you are actually watering those seeds by your vibration and how you live your life. As you continue forward, you will see the germination in your life, how powerful you are to help change humanity. For humanity is in desperate need of this. And you, dear ones, have the power to do that. Keep breathing that beautiful love and compassion in your heart and breathe it out. Beautiful Source, we thank you for being with us today. We thank for all of our loved ones that are here, loved ones that have passed, and our loved ones to come. We give gratitude and appreciation for each and every breath and each and every life that we touch. We thank you, Almighty God, for bringing us together today. We breathe in and we breathe out. Now slowly, come on back. You can bring your breathing nice and regular. Come on back and open your eyes. Slowly. Continue to feel that beautiful love as you breathe each and every day.
Fantastic. That was awesome.
I love,
Thank you so much.
I just feel the vibration coming right through this and how powerful we all are.
Yeah, it was so awesome. I actually felt a lot lighter.
Good.
Thank you so much for
You
having
are,
us.
you are so welcome. Thank you.
Oh, thank
Thank you.
Thank you, Rev.
Satnam, Reverend Sheila, Pao, and Veronica, I want you both to know that although it's just the four of us talking right now, I know the impact and the energetic imprint that we're sending out to the rest of the globe is actually very powerful to the rest of the universe. And at the same time, I want to thank my co-producers, Sir Roddy and Sir Charlie, for supporting the show, V81 Radio Management, our tech team, Michael and Harty. I really appreciate you. And of course, Pao, Veronica, and Reverend Sheila. I trust to have the three of you back again, maybe another episode, a new topic that we're going to discuss. And at the same time, is there anything that you actually want to share to our viewers? Any upcoming events for you, Pao and Veronica, that they should look into and anticipate?
Well, I go live streaming on Kumu. That's an application that you can download. So it's a live streaming platform for Filipinos, and I'm an artist there. I stream from Wednesdays to Sunday,
Mhm.
usually 9 p.m. onwards. So once you get to follow me, the Titanium Face, then you'll get notifications once I go live. So hopefully I
Fantastic.
can see you there.
Yeah, Reverend Sheila Pao, by the way, has one of the best voices you can ever hear. She's been performing ever since we were kids.
Wonderful. I can't
Yeah,
wait to hear her. I can't wait to hear him. Yeah, awesome.
yeah,
I'll definitely come back to share it with you.
awesome. And
Thank you
how
so
about you, Veronica? Yeah, thank you, Pao, Satnam. How about you, Veronica?
Well, I have a podcast with my friends. It's called It's an Adult Thing. So there we
Mhm.
talk about self development, health and wellness. So I'm really glad that you mentioned the mind and body connection because we also had an episode about that. So we talk about everything adulting, everything that we did not learn in school,
Mhm,
everything that was
mhm.
not traditionally taught in school. We talk about it with my friends. We also have guest experts on the show to help us become better adults in Filipino. So if you want to check it out, it's on Spotify. It's called It's an Adult Thing.
Mhm.
So you can check it out on Spotify, on Apple Podcast, and on YouTube.
Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing it. And I trust that our viewers are listening so that they can follow both of you. And at the same time, Reverend Sheila, do you have any upcoming events so that we can all watch out and prepare and schedule with you?
Absolutely. Every Monday night, I have a Light Workers Connection Circle that is open to all genders, everyone, all light workers. And that is Eastern Time, 7:11 at night Eastern Time.
Mhm.
My Light Workers Connection. And then bi weekly, every other week, we join together, the light workers join together with the Lemurian Sisterhood Sacred
Mhm.
Circles, where we join together our frequencies to help humanity heal. So I invite you all to do that.
Yeah.
All the information is on my website, SheilaTillich.com. And I also am a healer, a distant healer, and a reverend, and all the other things that I do. So please visit my website, SheilaTillich.com.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And Michael, please flash the AOB. All right. So I want to thank Unity Philippines Spiritual Center and Benedictine International School for helping me out when I was starting the show. And at the same time, I want to also let everybody know that next slide, please. Reverend Sheila and I went to University of Metaphysics. It's one of the best decisions I've made for myself, and it's also the reason why I feel such certainty about promoting metaphysics, life coaching, mental health, meditation, and many other things because of the amazing International Metaphysical Ministry, University of Sedona. And I know Reverend Sheila has a lot to say about the university, so please go ahead and share whatever it is that you'd like to share.
The University of Metaphysics is such a joy, and it is actually my family. And when I finally found it, I said I'm home. I found who I really am. I am a multidimensional, magnificent soul who's here and has a purpose to share and help humanity heal. So I love University of Metaphysics. Thank you.
Thank you for that. And next slide, please. I also want to invite people who want to become life coaches, mystical researchers, meditation teachers. There's an ongoing scholarship right now for the University of Metaphysics. So you can take a doctorate degree, and if you want to prepay in full, it's only $990. And if you'd like to do installment payments, it's only $90 for the down payment and $25 for the installment for 48 months. And next slide, please. Also, I want to thank Dr. Anita Caprice, Dr. Diana Bihuni, Dr. Cindy Palos, my brother Anthony Benton Brown, Reverend Adam Hayden, Jennifer Hill, Dr. Kathleen Riley, Dr. Stephen J. Casmina, Dr. Yolanda Dukes, and Reverend Tina Brinkley Potts. So next slide, please. Also, my boss Arnel Caranto from the Life Foundation, and also Reverend Sheila's website. You can visit it through www.sheilatilik.com. And that's all for now. And I also want to invite everyone, please join me for the Philippine Coherence Initiative. It's a meditation that I lead every day at 3 p.m. to raise the loving kindness in our atmosphere. And at the same time, we're going to have the Heart Math Retreat on March 25, 26, and 27. It's only $161.85 for 12 hours, and it's for 3 days. So we're going to talk about heart intelligence and why it's so important to address our present concerns. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Our viewers, keep your questions coming or your suggestions. And at the same time, before we end the show, I want to invite everyone for a simple affirmation to get our week started right. And together, let's affirm the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is and all is well. Satnam, everyone. Thanks again for tuning in. Remember, in Practical Magic, we just want to remind you, you are the magic you've been waiting for. Satnam, and see you again next week.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Consistently delivering the very best in metaphysics. Here in Practical Magic, your practical mystic source. Till next time, only here on V81 Radio, Manila. Tunog Pinoy, Tatak Pinoy, your all hits, all Pinoy digital radio station in South Manila. This is V81 Radio.
Ito ang paborito ng bawat Pilipino. Basta all hits, all Pinoy, panalo. Merong kwentong iyakan at tawanan. Kahit nasaan ka man ito'y mapapakinggan.